Welcome back. You're watching Buy Now Sell Now on ET Now show, where we get you answers for all of your stock-related queries. Just before the break, we were talking to the management of IKS Health. The stock had just listed on the bourses with a bumper listing. But let's take your stock queries to our experts who are waiting by very patiently. We have Sharmila Joshi who's joining us patiently and staying put with us to resolve all the viewer queries. Then let me actually kickstart taking the queries that have already been pouring in. And the first query that I have is coming in from Venkat Ramani from Bangalore. And he wants to ask about SpiceJet, 250 shares at a price of about 47 rupees per share. He wants to know what actually made saw the stock spike about 5% or so on an intraday basis, and the fact that they have settled with Genesis, and in return Genesis will be buying 10% stake in the company, and because they have resolved backlogging issues, you can see the stock see a sharp spike.
Aviation as a play, but I think two things we need to understand here. One is specifically to SpiceJet is what you were alluding to, that they seem to have settled, which is the news flow that some issues that they had. And what I don't like also about the sector is that each of them has some headwinds that seems to have been sort of getting addressed, and so that's good news to start off with. And I think the second more important thing is that if you overall look at the macro picture of where we are, where travel is, how we are poised for the next couple of years, how many airlines we have, and I think the price point of SpiceJet is also reasonable. So I think that given that they seem to be solving their issues and you're looking at a 2-year horizon, I think it was probably a good idea to continue to hold the stock.
Right, that's a hold coming in on SpiceJet. We're moving on to the next one, and what to do with this one, Dhwani? He's also looking for an advice that should he go ahead and sell this counter and rather invest in a recently listed Vare Energies at current levels. If you are not able to advise on Vare Energies, I'll switch to Sharmila, but first help with your take on PNB Housing.
From here, I don't see further fall coming in on this particular counter because the stock has already tested its 200 DMA on the daily charts, and from there we have seen a bounce once coming in. And again, in today's session, we are testing the same levels from where we should see certain buying action coming in. I would suggest a hold on this particular T and hold on to this one.
All right, let me take your view then on Vare Energy, Sharmila, because the fact that this one saw a bumper listing, I'm sure that a lot of viewers would want to actually go ahead and look to buy this one because of FOMO.
But be invested in this as a sector going ahead, because I think that market does pick up on certain themes every couple of years, and to my mind, green energy and renewable energy, that seems to be sort of a global theme that is playing out, and it will play out in the Indian context as well. And and market is correcting. Have a more SIP sort of approach to investing. But definitely, I think whether it is Vare Energy, that is a stock that I like, or something else within the green energy space, that is something that you should look to have an investment in going forward.
All right, that's the take coming in on what is seen to be buzzing today. And Shrikant from Bangalore is actually holding Oil India from a price of 477 rupees. He's had some loss in this one, but good to hold on or book to loss and move out. And he's just looking forward to the stock to move up. But when that moment will come, Dhwani?
So I don't see a small respite coming in over here. I would suggest book losses in this one, and then in the same sector there are other counters which are moving well. I like the chart structure of Hind Petro over here. Even in today's trade, we are holding positive over here. Intraday bounce has been very strong in
viewer, that is Venkat Ramana from Hyderabad. He wants to know about NTPC Green. He's holding about 3 stocks. Can he look to hold for the long term or book partial profit? Sharmila, I think vaguely you did answer this question while talking about Vare Energies.
And to my mind, renewable and green energy is a theme that market seems to like at the moment. And as we know, NTPC Green is was a part of NTPC, and the kind of projects that they have going ahead, etc. So the only thing is that when it comes to moving towards that, so if you have these stocks, definitely stay invested.
All right, so that is the view coming in on NTPC Green. In fact, that entire arena from Sharmila. This one is coming from Kailash Nand. He's writing to us from Trivandrum. He has a fairly recently listed counter when you compare it to its parent company.
No, I'm afraid I've not tracked this at all.
Dhwani, will you be able to give any view on this one? I'm sure you have very limited chart history, but in case you can.
Yeah, so again, the chart structure here is very limited. We don't have too much of a data, but structure, we've seen that on the higher side, we are seeing a certain resistance coming in at 815 levels, whereas the buying is taking place somewhere around 620 levels. So I would suggest hold on to it and you can play between the range that's there.
All right, that's the take coming in on side. And continuing the same, Sharmila, I'm coming to you for the next query. This one is on AU Small Finance Bank, wherein Kumar from Kerala wants to know, is this a fundamentally sound company to enter? Any advice for the short term or for the long term? How do you see the stock moving?
That probably makes more sense at this point in time because, obviously the recent market as well as the turn of events has not been the best for the sector. But in my opinion, not just AU small finance, but small finance as a sector, as a subsector concerns, and given with everything that is happening, not just with our economy, the rate cuts, etc. So I think that it will be a while before you really see them back to the strong growth that we saw in them maybe 2 years back or so. But that said, I think that this is a sector that can contribute. Don't buy at this level because I think there could be a further downside. If you had the stock, look to average it at slightly lower levels because I do think this entire sector will correct. The stock will also correct. So I leave it to the investor. But as I said, it is in that sense, it is a sector that I like. It is just that.
To you actually for the next query, Dhwani, and this one is on Tata Motors. We have a couple of queries on Tata Motors, and actually no doubt about it, given the fact that the stock has seen a sharp reversal. So you have Sashi, who's bought about 100 shares at a price of around 930 rupees per share, 990 rupees per share. Both of these guys have bought it at an elevated price. What should they do with their holdings in Tata Motors? And should they actually book losses at this point in time in case there is more pain in store?
Is not that meaningful now. You have to switch over to weekly structures to find out the next support levels. And on the weekly structure, it says that around 680 is the next support level where Tata Motors should take a halt in this current fall that it is witnessing. And from those levels, we'll see certain buying action coming in. So to keep it...
Looking for an advice here. So I believe both of them have been answered. But moving on then, and the next query that we have is coming in on Delhivery. Sharmila, there's a viewer named Komal from Mumbai who has purchased 1,000 shares of Delhivery at a price of 390 rupees. But this one is a long-term bet. It's on the same. She's looking out for a target in the next 1 year.
So the target could be close to around 410. Having said that, the valuations look a little expensive, and I think it will be a while before you sort of reach there. But once again, I think these are you can ride out the bad time, so to speak. So don't buy afresh, but stay invested in what you have.
Dhwani, coming to you, this one is coming in from our viewer Subramanian, who's writing to us from Chennai. It's on Piramal Pharma. He has about 20 shares of Piramal Pharma at a price of around 129.
Consolidation, but then given the market scenario, we are not seeing any fall coming in over here. In fact, pharma is holding on strong in today's session as well. And in this counter, you'll be witnessing a fresh breakout coming in on the dailies on short-term basis as well. So yes, hold on to it on the higher side. You're at 240 now.
All right, then that's the take coming in on Piramal Pharma. But with this fears, it's once again time to slip into a very short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more.
Is coming in from Divya, and this one is for you, Sharmila, on Viatech Vabhag. She has 75 shares, and now she's saying the shares are trading lower. She wants to know what to do with it. Does it make sense to go ahead and add some more right now? Order got cancelled.
Yes. So, but overall, if you look at the kind of business that they are in, that I think is what you need to look at. According to me, this is a great business to be in, given the fact that where our metros are, and your stock has done reasonably well for itself in this last year or so. But going ahead also, I don't really see any cause for concern, so to speak. So if you have the stock, I think, and if you have a long-term view, you can stay invested.
Right, if you have a long-term view, stay invested and we resolve their stock-related queries. And thank you to Dhwani as well. But with this, me and Cheryl will take your leave. Thank you so much for tuning in. But don't go anywhere because markets at noon will take the action ahead.